Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the John Campea YouTube channel. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and this is a special companion video to the John Campea Show, and of course to Open Mic. You know, I take live questions from you guys, the viewers, on the John Campea Show and Open Mic, but I don't always have time to get around to all of them that get sent in, so I want to make sure you guys know those questions get answered, and I do these little companion videos to get caught up on all those questions I didn't have the time to answer on the other shows. So, with that out of the way, let's dive right into it. And the first question today that we're getting caught up on comes to us from Killing Joke Quinn, who writes, "Okay, John, take a breath. Who would win? Dom with Anne as his hostage," for those of you who don't know, Anne is my wife, "versus you. P.S. We will come to your funeral." Well, everybody knows that Dom wins against Dominic Toretto from Fast and Furious, wins against Superman, wins against Thanos, wins against Galactus. It doesn't matter what they do. The writers of the Fast and the Furious will find a way to make Dominic win the fight. That's just the way it is. Okay, next one comes to us from Last of the Time Lords, who writes, "Thoughts on Christopher Lee Dracula movies? I love them. I know they don't hold up, but they are so much fun." They are kind of fun. It's been probably about 10 years since I've seen any of them. But you're right, they don't hold up. They don't. But they are fun in their own way, and there's a little bit of nostalgia. And it's kind of cool knowing that that's actually Christopher Lee doing them. Let's see. Next one comes to us from Jacob Jansen, who writes, "Did you know that you have a wiki page about..." Yes, there's a Wikipedia page about me. "You say that you are a nobody at times, but I know for a fact that I don't have a wiki page about me." Well, anybody can have a wiki page about anything. Just because there's somebody put up a wiki page about me does not mean I am any less of a nobody than I actually am. But thank you for noticing. I appreciate that, Jacob. All right. Next comes Last of the Tylers. "Thoughts on the Airwolf TV show?" I used to love it. One of the greatest TV themes of all times. Great. Ernest Borgnine, Jan Michael Vincent. I used to love that show when I was a kid. Jason Lauricella writes, "Hey, John, what happened to the Dark Universe?" Oh, the Mummy happened. The Mummy happened to the Dark Universe. Universal got way ahead of themselves, planning all these different movies, making all these announcements, casting all these people without putting out the first movie first. And then the first movie came out, did not do nearly as well as they were hoping it would, and it just derailed everything. So I think it's dead in the water, but who knows? They may revive it at some point. Time Lords writes, "Stormtrooper versus Clone Troopers. Who wins?" Stormtroopers win. Last of the Time Lords writes, "Will we get a Johnny English 3? They've already shot Johnny English 3. So Johnny English 3 is coming. It is on the way. It's already shot. I don't know much about it other than the fact that it's already shot and we should be getting it sometime probably this year. I believe 2018 is when it comes out. Time Lords then writes, "When will we get a Hellboy trailer?" Oh, who the hell cares, man? It doesn't come out till 2019. Are we really talking about... It's March. Are we really talking about a Hellboy trailer already? Let's give it some time, man. Kevin Campbell writes, "Your choice for director of the MCU Fantastic Four." Everybody knows what I'm going to say. I don't care. As long as it's a good director, I don't care. Let's see. Quijano89 writes, "Is it possible Thanos has more of the stones in that scene with Cap and just CGI'd them out? They did that with Thor's eye in the Ragnarok trailer." Okay, this is like the 5th time this question's been asked. But is it possible? Sure. It's possible. I'll tell you exactly what I said the other 4 times. It is possible. However, the scene with Thor was a completely different situation because that was they CG'd that out, the missing eye out, to protect another movie that was still yet to come out. So Thor Ragnarok was still coming out, and if you showed him like that in a trailer for the next movie, that would have given away a major spoiler of another movie. This is different. This isn't about dealing with another movie or anything like that. So the 2 situations, the Thor situation and this, are totally different situations because they did it in the Thor situation to protect another film. Now, if you're going to ask the question, but could they have CGI'd it out? Sure, they could have, but then you have to ask that question about every single scene you see in a trailer. Okay, that shot where we saw Bruce laying in the rubble of Doctor Strange's mansion, could it be possible that Abomination is beside him, but they just CGI'd him out so we don't see it? Sure, that's possible. It's possible. So we get into a really silly kind of game when we get into that. Is it possible? Yes, but I just don't see the point. Why would they just CGI out a couple of the stones? Why not CGI all the stones out? Why not CGI the entire glove out and just have Thanos' hand? If they're like, so yeah, it could be, and I keep seeing this theory pop up and people keep asking about it, but again, number one, it's a completely different situation than the Thor one. Number two, you get into this very dangerous game of they could be CGIing out anything in any single scene in any of the trailers. And then third, then why would they just even have two of the stones in there? Why not just have the one? We only see Thor, or Thanos, in the trailer, drop one stone in. So if they're going to CGI them out, why not CGI all but that one stone? Why not CGI out the whole glove? So, I mean, it certainly is. It's possible. It's possible. Absolutely. But I don't see why they would. And it just doesn't make any sense to me that they would do that at that point. Let's see. Cameron McCarthy writes, do you think we'll ever see, let me try that again. Cameron writes, do you think we'll ever see Cap with his shield again? Avengers 4 maybe, I'm assuming Tony has it. Oh yeah, we're going to see Captain will have his shield again. He'll get it back from Tony. Whether it happens in Avengers 3 or whether it happens in Avengers 4, not sure. We'll have to just wait and see. But I fully expect, fully expect we're going to see Captain with his shield again. There's a reason he just handed it off to Tony. It wasn't destroyed. It wasn't lost. It's there to be handed back to Captain at any moment. So he'll get it back. Just whether it's in 3 or 4, I'm not really sure. Murray for Us writes, I'm seeing Infinity War opening Thursday night. It sucks that my local theater's earliest showing with reserved seating is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but it's in 3D, and I hate wearing those glasses over. Man, no kidding. I hate wearing 3D glasses over my eyes. I hate 3D. You and me both, man. I will avoid. And actually, I've skipped screenings because I knew they were in 3D. And I did not get tickets to the earliest Thursday screening of Infinity War because the earliest screening was in 3D. And I am not interested in watching it in 3D. So I put it off and got 8 o'clock tickets when it wasn't going to be in 3D, when it was in a much better format, non-3D. So I'm totally with you on that, man. Completely with you on that. Let's see. Abraham Ruiz writes, did you see Cavill's Instagram post about his mustache? I did see Cavill's Instagram post about his mustache. Do I actually, hold a sec, you know what? It's funny because I was looking at that post earlier and I still have the tab open. Hold a second. Let me bring this up. There it is. It's this great, but let me see if I can make this any bigger here. Yeah, so there is the post. We can see Henry Cavill, and he's got the hashtag on it at the top, shaved but not forgotten. Henry Cavill knows. He knows what's going on. I love that he played around with that. So yes, I did see the post. It's funny that you mentioned because I had just had it up earlier. But yeah, someday they got to make that documentary, man. They got to make a documentary about that whole mustache thing. They have to. Let's see. Stephen Meisel, better director, Terry Gilliam or David Lynch? David Lynch. Time Lords writes, did you watch WCW? I used to watch it all the time. Only started to watch WWE once Vince bought WCW, but thought WCW was better. Your thoughts? WCW was always a cheaper version of the WWF, to be honest with you. There was about a 1.5-year stretch when I think WCW was better. For about a 1.5 years. But that, I mean, it was right in the midst of the NWO stuff and all that kind of crap. But then it went off a cliff. They just went totally off the rails and just became awful. And that put them in trouble, and then eventually WWE got them. So for the most part, WWE was always better, but there was a window of time, a 1.5 year window of time, maybe at the most, maybe 2 years, but there was a window of time when WCW was better in the midst of all the NWO, but it was a short window. Everything else, I think, was WWE. Chris Martin writes, have you seen David Foster and Friends, the concert? He's one of the most well-known record producers. He's worked with Peter Cetera, Celine, Josh Groban, Kenny G, Blake Shelton. And David Foster is a good Canadian kid, by the way. I have not seen the concert you're talking about, but I used to, when I was learning to play piano, a lot of his pieces were the pieces I was using trying to learn how to play piano. So I love David Foster, but I have not seen that concert you're talking about. No, I haven't. I didn't even know it existed, to be honest with you. Ben Rayner writes, Deadpool 2 secret cameo, Iron Spider. There you go. We talked on the John Campea show earlier today about, you know, the rumor going around that they shot a top secret cameo for Deadpool. And we were playing around with the idea, who could it be? And Ben wants it to be Iron Spider. There you go. Ben Hayusa writes, what in the ass? All these trailers releasing. What a great time to be alive as a comic book geek. No kidding, man. No kidding. We've got Deadpool 2 and Avengers Infinity War coming out in the same month. Are you kidding me? Well, you know, within a few weeks of each other. They were both coming out in May. Now one's coming out on April 27th. But oh my God. Oh my God. I mean, as a film fan, how exciting is that? I mean, that's going to be a crazy couple of weeks. I just cannot wait. Okay. Jordan Benjamin writes, that Deadpool 2 trailer was freaking brilliant. Seeing him spinning around in Professor X's chair was priceless. And his little yellow X-Men shirt. I loved that trailer, man. I really did. It was a perfect example of what a good trailer should be. Now, it's not the best trailer I've ever seen. Don't get me wrong. Not at all. But it did all the things a good trailer should do. And that's what I was excited to see. And the stuff that was in it was fun. It was funny. It gave us bits of the story, a little bit of the characters. It gave us a little bit more information, not giving us too much information. It was just a great trailer. It was wonderful. I've watched it about 8 or 9 times. I just love that damn thing. AV Towns writes, I love what you're doing. I watch you every day, so you're like a part of my life. Just keep putting in fantastic work. You do day in, day out. Well, thanks so much, AV. I really appreciate that. I love doing this, and I love having you guys along, letting me be a film fan with you as we talk about our favorite things in the world. So thank you very much, man. I appreciate that comment. Moose Tack Reviews writes, thoughts on the most recent episode of Gotham. You got to admit, when Bruce comes out of his hood with the lights flickering was awesome. Haven't seen the most recent episode. But I will say this, I'm completely tired of all the, look guys, this kid Bruce Wayne, don't tell anybody, but he becomes Batman. Oh, thank you. The audience are all idiots. You know, we didn't know that. We didn't realize that, really. And it comes across to me as pathetic and desperate. It really does. I'm actually quite enjoying Gotham when they stay away from the Bruce stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm not crapping on the kid who plays Bruce. He does a really good job. I really like that kid. I just don't like that they're constantly having to do this. Hey guys, big secret, but guess what? We're dropping little hints that this kid becomes Batman. Really? Oh wow, we didn't know that. And it just seems like they just go on. It just seems sad. It seems sad and desperate that they do that. So I'm actually not a fan of the stuff that they're doing with that at all. Shamanth, I'm going to leave it there. Hello, John, fan from India. Well, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. I especially struggle with the Indian names, man. I don't know what my problem is, but thank you so much. I appreciate you saying hi. ZOMG Ruler writes, ever hear someone say, you couldn't pay me to see that? Oh, I've heard people say that, and then they often go and see it. Old Flicks Joe writes, after this trailer, I don't believe all the rumors about test screening being bad. Can't wait to see this movie. Oh, hey, John. You should never believe any reports about, secret test screenings. Never believe them. Test screenings happen, but everybody also signs these big non-disclosure agreements. And then inevitably, someone who wasn't there gets on Reddit and says, I was one of the people at the secret screenings and I didn't like this movie. And everybody believes it. It's crazy. And guess what? There's new rumors that there was another secret test screening and everybody loved it. Don't believe those rumors either. Just never believe any rumors you have about secret test screenings. All right, just discard them immediately. Let's see. Krieger119 writes, bet Deadpool doing the Wakanda X is from reshoots. No, there are lots. I could point to a lot of movies where soldiers or whatever, the big salute is this. before it was in Black Panther. So no, I don't think that was a Black Panther reference. I've seen a few people online going, that's a Black Panther reference. I don't think that was a Black Panther reference at all. I don't. Let's see. Hey, we could hear from Ryan Reynolds later that it was, but I did not take it as that at all. I still don't. Let's see. Mr. Film writes, Mad Men, very interesting show in character. Thoughts? Sure. I don't understand the questions. I guess sometimes there's random show. Thoughts? It's like, it was good. Can you be more specific? So I'm not trying to ditch on the question or anything. It's just that I get so many of these questions. John, random 1980s TV show. Thoughts? And I'm like, it was okay. It was good. Mad Men was a good show. I don't know what else to say beyond that, to be honest. I feel a little stuck. I feel like Negasonic Teenage Warhead in the first Deadpool movie going, yeah, I feel like you got me in a bit of a corner here. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Krieger119 writes, ever seen the theory of LaRusso being the bully? Yeah, I did see that. I thought it was ridiculous. Just dumb. Just ridiculous. Although, one of the things I don't like about this new trailer is that suddenly now Daniel LaRusso's the dick. And that kind of turns me off a little bit. Jeremiah J writes, if Shut the Fuck Up and Eat Your Soup shirt comes out with your logo on it, I'm buying it. Well, thank you so much. Yeah, I've been saying this for, feels like a year. Really more like 7 months, but I'm working on trying to get some merchandise together. But again, it's time consuming and I haven't had time to do it, but I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get some of that stuff, hopefully by the end of summer. I'm hoping by the end of summer. Okay. Let's see. John Wiles writes, Avengers 4 title secret because it is Iron Avengers, featuring Iron Man, Iron Spider, Iron Widow, Iron Panther, Iron Hawkeye, Iron. Love the show. That's exactly it, man. That's exactly it. And you guys are just never going to let me go on that, are you? Iron Widow, Iron Panther, the Iron Panther. That's what we need to see next, the Iron Panther. Dark Knight 46K writes, 2018 summer movie season belongs to Josh Brolin. Well, if you want to say being a supporting character in a couple of the movies, sure. He's a CGI character in one. He's a secondary character in another. I don't know that I'd say it belongs to him. I'd say clearly he's gets to be in a couple of big ones. I don't know if I would call it, unless he's leading those films, I wouldn't call it his summer. Although I'm a big Josh Brolin fan, I can't wait to see him in both of these things. John Wiles writes, I hope Thanos will be a continuing villain. I hope they do not kill him and he comes back to fight time and time again as scripts warrant, Loki-ish. I don't know. I kind of like definitive... Look, it's not like Thanos hasn't been around. Thanos has been a lingering presence in the MCU since the first Avengers movie. So it's not like that he just pops up, is in a movie for an hour, and then dies. I think I'd be okay with them definitively ending that story. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they have to kill Thanos. I'm not saying that either. But I'm saying I think I'd be okay. I feel like he's been around the MCU long enough. His shadow has been cast over the MCU long enough now that I'm ready for them to bring that story to a close. And if they want to keep him alive, I'm fine with that too. So I'm totally good if they kill him. I think they're totally justified in killing him off. But if they don't, I could see them having some creative opportunities there too. So I'm kind of on the fence about that a little bit. Warren Lucas writes, any updates on the CCU, aka Conjuring cinematic universe? Heard they were making The Nun, but I haven't heard about a Conjuring 3 or other movies. Honestly, I haven't heard about much. You asked that and I got something buzzing in my head, but I'm not quite sure what it is. So I don't know off the top of my head, to be honest with you. Best thing to do some Google searches, see what you can find. But off the top of my head, I can't really think of anything other than I know they're making this Nun movie. But you know what? Maybe they're just being cautious. Maybe they're just taking it slow. For all I know, they've got 5 movies in production right now that I'm just not aware of. But maybe they're just taking it slow at this time and learning the lessons that they learned from the Universal's Dark Universe thing about getting ahead of themselves. Let's see. Jeremiah J writes, Thanos cameo in Deadpool 2, only if he's available. That would be funny. That would be funny if they did a Thanos cameo. I mean, you'd have to work out that would be impossible to work out the rights, but oh my God, that would be hilarious. I would laugh a lot. Devontae Brown writes, John, Sony made it seem Men Black 3 lost money. Oh, the Sony hack made it seem like Men in Black 3 lost money. No, Men in Black 3 didn't lose money. It was an expensive movie to make, but it made like, I want to say like $640 or $650 million. Let me look it up here. Hold a second. Men in Black box office. $625 million. They made $625 million. So it did not lose the money. It didn't make them a ton of money, but it made almost as much as Justice League did. I mean, so that's fine. Let's see, but it was an expensive movie to make too. But at $625 million, it made money. It definitely made the money. Lori Scott says, hey, John, homesick and glad you're here to keep me company. Bring on the filthy. Careful how you word things, Lori. Phrasing, as Archer would say. Phrasing. You could get both you and I in trouble. Cyber Slave 666 writes, John, as Red Skull's human face is just a mask, I think they should recast and bring him back. I'd like Christoph Waltz. You get me through work daily. Oh, that's nice to know. Thanks a lot, Cyber Slave. No, look, they totally could. You can recast Red Skull. Actors are replaceable. There's always somebody out there who could be a little bit better. Who could possibly be a little bit better. Absolutely. I'm just saying, if it's up to me, I just... Look, clearly Red Skull is not a major important figure for them in the MCU. Or else we would have heard more from him in the MCU other than just the first Avenger movie with Captain America. So clearly he's not big in their plans. If Red Skull was really important to their overall plan, then absolutely recast. But he's clearly not really important to their overall plan, or else they would have used him in other movies up until now. So if he's not really that important, then I would kind of just rather them leave me with my Hugo Weaving Red Skull. If he's an important character, then by all means recast. If you can't convince Hugo Weaving to come back, and you don't want to force him to come back, then by all means recast, and you can do that. But don't just go, hey, just for the heck of it, let's bring in Red Skull and recast just for the sake of having a little appearance. You know what I'm saying? So I'm totally cool with them recasting him if it's vital to the narrative. If it's not vital to the narrative, then I say just let it go and leave it be. Let's see. Jordan Benjamin writes, isn't it great to see how far John Boyega has come since Attack the Block? Detroit was emotional but fantastic. Excited for Pacific Rim Uprising? No, not excited for Pacific Rim Uprising. I'm curious about it. I'm going to go see it in a couple of hours here. I'm curious about it, but not excited about it. Nothing in the trailers have made me excited, per se. But it is really cool to see how far John Boyega's come. Seeing, of course, in Star Wars, he was very good in Detroit. It's funny, he was so good in Detroit, and he wasn't even the best performance in it. There were even better performances in Detroit. I thought Detroit was really overlooked at the Oscars. I thought Detroit was wonderful, like all kinds of wonderful. I had a great time with Detroit, but I could never watch it again because it's so like gut-wrenching at the same time. Like, I had a great time at it, but I mean, it was a great experience watching a film because of the emotions it pulls out of you. But it's one of those films that, like Schindler's List, I so appreciate it, but I don't know that I could make myself watch it again. Because it's tough, man. It's a hard movie. Hard movie. Devontae Brown writes, Escape Plan 2 is shot, released a clip last year. Here's the thing. So somebody on the John Campea show earlier today asked me if I think they'll make an Escape Plan 2. And I was like, no, I don't think so. I mean, the first one didn't make any money. Nobody wanted to go see it. I don't think they will. Then a little bit later after that, I realized, oh, wait, no, they did do Escape Plan 2. And as a matter of fact, there's this guy I know. You've seen him on one or two of my shows here and there, named Kyle Newman. And Kyle Newman, who is the director of a number of films, but most notably for Star Wars fans, Fanboys. He's the director of Fanboys. Anyway, his wife, Jamie King, is in that sequel. So I fucking should have known better. I should have realized and known better. So yes, and that's the thing about taking live questions, man, is sometimes you brain freeze or whatever. But yes, they did shoot Escape Plan 2. And I realized that afterwards because this dude I know, his wife is actually in it, and I should have known better. But yes, you are absolutely right. They did shoot. I don't remember them releasing a clip, but if you're saying they did, then I totally believe you that they did. I don't remember that, but then again, I didn't remember that they shot the movie at all in the first place either. So there you go. Let's see. Matt, and this is the final question of the day, comes to us from Matt Glacier, who writes, regarding Venomless Venom, Power Rangers left it till 90 minutes of a 2-hour film to see them in the suits, and it bombed. Yeah, but that had nothing to do with it. That had nothing to do with it. Because people didn't know that they were in the costumes only in the last half hour of the film until they went to go see it. So them not being in the costumes till the last half hour had nothing to do with it. And I contend that's a very different situation. Venom is almost a completely different character. You have Tom Hardy, and then you have Venom, and they're two totally different. The Power Rangers is just they put on the costume. They're still them. And I felt, as somebody who thought the Power Rangers was going to suck, I felt like we were getting the Power Rangers. Just because they didn't have the dumb costumes on, I still felt like we were getting the Power Rangers throughout the movie. I really appreciate it. So I think that is a night and day difference. That is a night and day difference, in my opinion, at any rate. And I think you are absolutely wrong, though, Matt, about the movie bomb because they didn't put on the costumes to the last 30 minutes. No, that had nothing to do with it, because people had to go to the movie to find that out, and nobody went to the movie in the first place. And I actually thought the movie was pretty good. This guy who said for over a year that this movie was a bad idea, I think this movie's going to suck, blah, 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 blah. And I ended up liking it. And I ended up being one of the movie's defenders. And I thought it was pretty good. It's a pretty good movie, but it had nothing to do about when they put the costumes on. Anyway, that's just kind of my theory on that. All right, guys, that gets us all caught up on all the questions that I didn't have time to get around to on the John Campea Show and, of course, on the afternoon's open mic. Don't forget, open mic does come again a little bit later this afternoon at 2 p.m. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. My name's John Campea, and until my next video, bye-bye.